All right. Hello, everyone. Blaze, you there?
Hey man, how's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. Man, your mic sounds good.
Thanks. I've been messing around with like all the settings on it. I picked it up and I was like, oh, out of the box, it should just work fine, and it automatically improve everything. And then I've had to download about 100 different bits of software. Two of them have caused blue screens of death to crash me in the middle of broadcast. I don't know. So I'm still trying to figure it all out, but I think it's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, it sounds pretty clear. All right, guys. Just to let you know, everyone is in the lobby. We should be starting on time and all that sort of jazz. The stream was a little bumpy earlier. It's because we were on the Frankfurt servers and they just seemed to be crappy tonight. So switched over to Amsterdam. Things look all right. No frames drop. So everything should be set out for a great two-game series between Vega Squadron and Team Spirit. That's going to be coming up probably another, you got to guess, probably 7 or 8 minutes. Once the ads start playing, that's 3.5 minutes until game start, just so you know. So when the ads go, you know, all right, take a bathroom break, get some snacks. What needs you? Go get it. 3.5 minutes until the game starts.
gaming bets. We accept bets on computer games online since 2011. Referral system for regular users and the first deposit bonus. Gaming devices store and the best choice of payment systems. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, Counter-Strike and StarCraft, World of Tanks and League of Legends. EGB.com. You know for sure who's going to win.
G2A.com, the best video game store ever! Fast as lightning, solid as a rock, cheap as duck. What's more, you can sell on it because it's also a marketplace. Remember G2A.com, the best video game store ever!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Dota Pit. We have just one series ahead of us for the night. It's going to be Team Spirit versus Vega Squadron. A very exciting matchup, as this is probably some of those CIS teams that you're looking to make their way up to that Tier 1 category, especially with Team Spirit's recent performance at the major qualifiers, as well as, Vega Squadron just being Vega Squadron. So let's get on into it, shall we? As I've got Blaze Casting, who's going to be joining me. Blaze, what's going on, man? It's been a little while since we casted together.
Definitely, but have been watching some great Dota. 6.86D is really turning out to be a very dynamic patch. Every region still has a little bit of a different take on it. I've been casting a lot of China, a little bit of America as well, and we just get to see the different tempos, the different mentalities brought to each different metagame. And now I'm really excited because we get to see the CIS showdown. We get to see some draft masterminds going at it. God Black is going to be letting Afterlife take the picks, but he's certainly going to have his input. So as a whole, I'm really excited to see what these two teams are going to bring to the next stage of 6.86.
Yeah, this draft is already looking pretty interesting. Vega Squadron choosing to ban away both the Wisp as well as the Chen. But they give away what is Team Spirit's most picked hero, the Invoker, immediately first picked for Afterlife. The response, though, from Vega Squadron, they get two of their favorites as well, Nature's Prophet and Vengeful Spirit. Vega Squadron seems to have a bit of a different take than most of the teams when it comes to 6.86. A lot of pushing power is what they're kind of specializing in for this patch. What do you think? Have you watched much of Vega Squadron's games, and what do you think of their kind of take on this meta, where they pick up a lot of Furion, a lot of Lycan, some Lone Druids and Death Prophets in there as well?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I was watching them just a few hours ago. They had a 30-minute game against Team Empire, and their draft seemed like straight out of 2013. Like, it was a very old push style with the Chen Venge and all this stuff where you straight up deathball. Once you have the key items, the mechanism on the Chen, and everybody's got their ultimates and such, you just go down a lane and you're able to just start dominating. And I think the forceful aspect and the dominant approach definitely favors Vega, because they're going to be able to build momentum and they're going to be able to control the map better. If the Night Stalker is in a support position, then it's going to be hard for him to build up an Aghanim's to get that map control back. It's going to be him on a 25 to 30 minute timer for him actually starting to contribute in a map control sense. And that means that that's Vega's map until that point in time, where they just get to take every tower, they get to dominate the resources. And Invoker is one of the more resource dependent heroes. He needs gold, he needs experience, otherwise he's not going to be going very far. So that's why you most commonly see the Midas picked up on the Exhort Invokers, though more recently, when we see an Invoker up against a really heavy push lineup, we have been seeing them dip into Wex a little bit more frequently.
Yeah, the Quas Wex builds, it just feels less dynamic, I guess. There's just not as many options, right? You're like, Tornado EMP, throw some Cold Snaps in. But the Exort build seems to offer you so many different pathways to go to when it comes to build, how you want to play it. I mean, you've got Exort invokers that are going Midas Aghanims and are beasts when they get to like level 15 and they're just destroying everyone with this high amount of spell damage. But then you get like the early tempo controlling Vuels, and then you even get some who are just like, lol, I can do Invoker Roshan at 10 minutes, and then I'm going to push your towers, all your outer towers down by 20 with Forge Spirits. It just feels like there are so many different options. But I'm with you on this. The Quaswix Invoker feels like it. If Vega Squadron do go for a bit more push, it might be a necessity. Vega Squadron gonna go for the Ancient Apparition here. Not entirely sure what the plan is behind that. Just because it's not really a strong pushing hero necessarily, and there's not a big healer out of Team Spirit yet.
So I think what they're going to be doing is transitioning into a global strat. They've got the AA, the Nature's Prophet, so add in a Spectre for their 4th pick here. It is something they picked up just a week ago against Pro Dota. So while they do tend to favor these high tempo push lineups, they have shown that they have a penchant for the mid to late game lineups as well. They had like Tidehunter, Spectre, and Death Prophet all in this lineup. So they can kind of mix and match. They can get the best of both worlds where they're still taking towers a little bit early with heroes like Venge and Furion, but that's gaining gold momentum for the harder carries. The AA needs the Ags probably, and then of course the Spectre wants to get any item she can to build just any kind of opportunity to stay alive, because we can go back to that Invoker. You were talking about it as an Exort, and that hero can come online as pretty much as fast as the Invoker wants to. Like we've seen Fata build Medallion Atos, like you said, the really early Roshans, and the Forge Spirits could just go to town pushing and killing, and then of course the Yules combos. It's just like you have to build up durability on your carry, so I think Spectre fits the bill.
Hey, did you recently see that Ramses got up to 8K?
You did, actually. I was very impressed by that.
Yeah. What he was like one of the guys that you would see in some of those tier 2 or tier 3 teams occasionally, and like standing in here or there and that sort of thing. And I always looked at him and I was just like, I could see something coming out of this guy, in the future. And Team Spirit may be his kind of breakthrough team, especially with their performance at the majors. Not so much MDL, but
Well, like a lot of people look at the recent results and say, oh, well, Spirit had like one good tournament and now they're absolutely trash. But if you look at the actual matchups that they've had, these have been really rough tournaments for them. Between Star Ladder and MDL, they've just had so much that they've had to prove between their opponents. They even took a game off Newbie and MDL. I mean, Newbie is not a bad team anymore. It's not one that you can't be unimpressed with. So I feel like most of it comes down to just the fact that they have been thrown into a really difficult set of tournaments and tournament runs. And other than that, like Captain's Draft, I'm not sure if their results tell us much about that. I do want to note one interesting thing about this draft, though. Where Team Spirit usually thrive is when Ramses is actually playing a safe lane initiating hero. Like he's picking up a Brewmaster or a Slardar or even like Timbersaw or something like that, a hero that comes online through spells and through a Blink Dagger, and then that allows Iceberg to go for Invoker and for OD and for these kind of semi-carry intelligence heroes. So I feel like that's when their lineups are most potent, is when they have that good mix of their safe laner is actually their initiator and their mid laner is the one who's actually going to do the right-click damage. But in this case, they're kind of trying to double down and get just fight carry with carry. Try to say, okay, well, the Gyrocopter can go late, the Invoker can go late, but I feel their mid game is going to be a little bit weak, especially in between their Ravage cooldowns.
Yeah, this is, I was kind of with you on the global strategy. I thought that made a lot of sense when the Ancient Apparition picked up, but they're now going to go for Sven. Now, Sven has actually dropped off earlier. Like, if you look at it just 2 or 3 weeks or even a full month ago, Sven was getting picked up quite commonly, and was oftentimes going for the Helmet Dominator strat where he's farming up Ancients and such, but that has dropped off quite a bit. I think part of it is that teams got adjusted to the timings that Sven had when it comes to farming Ancients, and when he was his strongest and when he was his weakest as well, and when to try and kind of exploit those situations. And it seemed like once teams learned that timing, he wasn't nearly as strong. But Vega Squadron can still go for some more pushing power, as Sven was traditionally looked at as kind of a pushing carry anyway.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, I'm looking back at their Sven history, and it's been 20 days since they picked up a Sven with a win. That was in Starletter against Complexity, and this is the exact same draft, except they had an Invoker for their 5th hero. So obviously that can't be the same. But otherwise, all 4 heroes are identical. So this is definitely something they're comfortable with, definitely something that they practiced with before. And I mean, all it comes down to in my mind is how efficient they are at stacking and how good they are at controlling the stacks. Because obviously Tide, Gyrocopter, these are heroes that can contest both the standard creep stacks as well as the ancient ones. You have to kind of keep tabs on that and control that zone. And Lena's a good hero to do that with. The good AoE spell set, just when she has a level advantage, you really don't want to go toe-to-toe with her. So overall, I think that Ven's just going to have a pretty heavy stacking job ahead of her. They're going to have trouble zoning the Tide. For the most part, I think Tide should still get quite a bit out of the offlane. But if their ward game is on point, Vega can see the Night Stalkers approach, shut down early ganks with a Nature's Prophet TP, and I think they'll be able to kind of show their strengths at all stages of the game here.
Yeah, especially with the idea that the Furion can be able to make at any point in time a rotation into that middle lane and set up the Lina pretty well. This may actually be a lane that Invoker just doesn't like auto win, or at least, you know, it seems like most Invoker lanes he either is going to win the matchup or he's going to do like just fine farming wise, because he's like kind of tough to gank just because he's like tanky, especially with all the quas that he has in either build essentially. And he's just too dangerous to fight, especially once he has Cold Snap and Forge Spirits. But if they can maybe put on a little bit of that early pressure around level 3, they might actually be able to win this lane for no one, and then he can kind of steamroll from there. And we've seen the way that Lena's match up against Gyrocopters. They can actually just control the Gyrocopter so damn well if they can get that Ags upgrade. But Always Wanna Fly is going to be the last pick hero, and it's his Rubik that is going to be picked up. A nice instant disable. A hero that's, I guess, okay at being able to control a melee hero like Sven. And there are some pretty good abilities to steal, but nothing like major. There's no like really obvious Enigma, Bane, you know, those kind of auto steals that can just win the game for you.
Definitely, it's not like a guaranteed, oh, I have to get the spell to really show my worth. He can steal just a Light Strike array, a nice Vortex, something that's so simple but will still add up very quickly in terms of its ability to contribute. And I feel like this enhances their late game potential even further, because now all of their heroes could be really good post the 40-minute mark. Like obviously Night Stalker, Ags, but even Rubik Ags. If they can find the economy to get both supports online, not anytime soon, but if the game goes on and on, then you just being able to steal a new stun every 2 seconds is absolutely insane for a hero like Rubik. So overall, I feel like Team Spirit definitely have the advantage in the late game, but Vega are going to try to find their opportunities sooner. We're, of course, going to see the Sven look for the blink, so they can set up heroes like the AA, like the Nature's Prophet, with their spell set. And I feel like overall, Vega's going to have the kill advantage, unless Team Spirit, again, fight around their cooldowns very carefully.
Vega Squadron going to march straight uphill, and we'll be able to catch Ramses here. This looks to be our first blood, as especially with the Chilling Touch and the major amount of lockdown stuns they have. Ramses quickly goes down, and Vega Squadron will take control of the enemy side of the Secret Shop. They're actually going to block out this camp, so Tidehunter's not going to have the opportunity to farm that one up. Team Spirit, though, do they really want to continue with that aggro tri lane? If they block out that camp, it's obviously better for Tidehunter to be top, but it is going to be better for the team as a whole.
Not after that first blood. I mean, you're going to be giving so much of a start to the side of Vega Squadron. They already have great tri-lane heroes in the Sven, the AA, so it's just a really difficult laning composition to try to actually go aggressive when, honestly, Night Stalker and Rubik are much more better at getting little quick picks than they are at sustained skirmishes. Like they can offer 1 or 2 spells here and there to a fight, but they're not really great in just a heavy combat-oriented try versus try.
Yeah. That was just so weird. I can't believe that Ramses got caught so badly.
Really?
Like that.
Yeah.
Always Want to Fly. He's hoping to be able to stop these Treant pulls, but that's not actually going to happen. I didn't think about this, but I guess Telekinesis is pretty good at dealing with some of these pulls. Being able to
it can help. Back. I mean, yeah, it's still going to be the Creequilibrium favoring Mag, but he can definitely use his spells a little bit more actively and try to mess with it a little bit.
Yeah.
In the end, though, they're just going to have to settle for like all kind of a wash on top lane where Furion gets a little bit, but also Galblack gets to just go ahead and do his own thing with the Iron Talon, as he loves to do on many supports, but the Night Stalker is one of the best.
Double stun combo at the bottom lane. Tidehunter is going to have to play careful around it, but he should be able to at least play forward enough he can get some experience. That being said, once Solo is added to the mix, that may be just a bit too many stunts for him to handle, especially without a level of Kraken Shell, or several levels of Kraken Shell, rather. If you can get that damage threshold down and you don't have to worry as much about the cold feet, the lane can go okay for you, but it's that level 1 that's going to be most dangerous for him.
Absolutely. In the meantime, we are going to be seeing it's strict 1v1 up top between Ramses and Mag here. The Rubik knows he can't really do enough to the Furion to make a difference, so he's going to try and instead give Iceberg a little bit of a point of leverage here in mid. He'll leech level 2 in the process, and that's his signal to at least cover the rune and then maybe make his play back up top. So it's going to be the Night Stalker that plays extremely passively during the daytime. The Rubik will try to be that dynamic influence for the first 4 minutes, and then we'll see them kind of collaborate for kills as the night falls.
This is something I forgot who was talking about. There was some pro player talking about how powerful the Night Stalker jungle is, and being able to have that kind of greedy 4 position that goes Iron Talon. It's like a little bit similar to just the way that like other greedy 4 positions such as Legion Commander would work, except for Night Stalker just comes online that much faster, and you can like at that 4 minute go for it. No one is maybe gonna be caught. Oh, always want to fly back away from that kill at the same time that Iceberg threw out the cold snap.
Yeah, the cold snap came out a little bit late. I guess because I didn't think the mini stun would be enough to get it, but he was really just right on the circle there, so it definitely was possible, and the DD rune would have kind of brought as much damage as the chilling touch rotation from Solo. So yeah, I think that could have gone a little bit better, but in the end, he's just trying to keep Lena back and make it so that she can't just go right up on the high ground and start just poking at Iceberg with those long-range auto attacks.
Oh, they're diving in deep for this one. Afterlife, he's got the extra bit of HP from the Fairy Fire, though, and he will have the full wave to himself. This was very critical. I knew like it was going to come down to the wire here when they tried to pull that hard camp, and whether or not Tidehunter could keep the aggro in this lane. It would force him to take a lot of damage, but one of the best things that he did is he got off the anchor smash on both heroes before they double stunned him. And I think that's actually what allowed him to be able to live. Unfortunately, they're still able to zone him back as he doesn't have enough HP to sit forward, but he will be able to at least have the creep equilibrium a bit in his favor and hopefully pick up some experience of his own. Looks like he's going to go the Iron Talon build now that his camp is opened back up. But in the meantime, he's just a little bit lackluster in HP. Mag is actually going to be able to complete the kill onto the Rubik because a lucky Satyr kill, but still, Mag's going to go down in return as a quick Sunstrike finishes him off. Still, though, a rather unlucky proposition for that Rubik, who thought he was going to be able to easily set up a kill on that Furion, but got Satyr blasted in return.
Yeah, just a little bit of unexpected damage coming out there with the 3 heroes getting committed. So now it's actually okay for the Rubik to go down at that timing because he can start moving with the Night Stalker. The Night Stalker wants to be the wild card on the map. He's level 4 at 4 minutes. This is exactly what Godblack wants. Boots and level 4 is all you really need. So the Rubik dying allows him to go to the lane that the Night Stalker is, and they can turn it very quickly into a 3 versus 3 that does favor them, as they just have all that surprise factor. They have the nighttime influence. All they need is a support that's too far from home, and that might be the AA.
Yeah, I like the efficiency as well of Godblack dying, just as nighttime's coming up. He is going to be able to find Solo here. Doesn't look like his damage is really going to be enough, and unless he wants to risk his life, he is going to be stunned up. Double stun actually coming in. The Sven's going to be able to hit him. The cold feet proc might be there in time. Godblack turns around, gets off a Void, and will get the kill on the Vengeful Spirit first. Now Solo's going to be threatened. Godblack still is not dead, but finally Pasha gets that last right click in. He does have a Mango, but I don't think they have enough to be able to kill Afterlife. In fact, Solo can't even join him on this adventure. He almost gets taken out by Always Want to Fly. If he's not careful, he's going to lose that right click. Fairy Fire actually keeps him alive. Meanwhile, Afterlife, maybe? Oh, he's getting away. Solo's still good, but Afterlife is not going to make it out. Mag made sure to make the rotation to catch him out, and Solo. Is there no Sunstrike, or did he miss?
There was one, but he just isn't invoking it. They didn't feel confident on the read of wherever he was positioned, so he's just going to hold on to it.
Well, that's a bit unfortunate. His team spirit, things go a bit sour for them. losing that Tidehunter and the Night Stalker in that engagement. At least the Night Stalker was able to be a part of the kill, but it still doesn't bump him up to level 5, which is kind of critical. He needs those high-level nukes to make his rotations all the more successful so he can start snowballing.
So at this point in time, Gyrocopter does get a little bit of space made for him. He's going to have the Ring of Gila for sure, and then he's going to be able to move in towards probably just like like we usually see a Sange from a lot of the Western carries just to tank up a little bit. There's a lot of burst damage coming out, so I would not be surprised to see the Sange, if not going for the Drums of Endurance, build up. Both of them offer their own sets of values, but yeah, just any durability is going to allow him to actually get involved in the fights. Right now, level 7, like a Chinese Gyrocopter would be TPing. Oh, mid.
Yeah, they're going to be able to get no one here. Telekinesis turnaround. Iceberg almost goes down to the combination. Ramsey's here as well, though. The nukes are going to be enough to overwhelm both mid heroes. And now Team Spirit got to back themselves away. Pasha doesn't have a nukes, but they do have the disable coming out from the trees. They're going to be able to block up Ramsey's a little bit more. The tick damage, it isn't enough. He doesn't go down. Iceberg picks up the double kill thanks to his Forge Spirits as it kills the Ancient Apparition. And I don't know how Ramses managed to survive through that. It seemed like perhaps the Furion broke his trees maybe just a half a second too early, as that's all that was needed to be able to finish off that kill.
The Nature's Call definitely came out too early. The Rubik was coming with his Tango to take care of it as well, so it definitely was something that they would have gotten the extra hit in that half a second that you're talking about, and that would have been a huge kill. Like, Gyrocopter rotating early is not that bad if they get the jump, but this was kind of a counterplay. This was without a Ravage to coincide with the call down, so there's a great risk to the Gyrocopter since he again has no HP items. So at this point in time, the Gyrocopter exposing himself, they could have toppled him, and that would have been giving a massive amount of momentum to Vega. Instead, they do get the Invoker, but otherwise suffer casualties.
Pretty big difference between our two offlaners right now. Tidehunter just about to crack level 5, while our Furion, who's been able to move around the map and be a part of multiple kills and just farm better in general because the laning phase is already up to level 7. He's got Phase Boots, Wand, and another 1,000 gold. Looks like, what is that Glove of Haste going to go into? Is it Midas? Is it early Mjolnir? Feels like Midas, right?
It's definitely tough to call. I think there's value in both because I know this game is going to go a little bit later. But if I were Vega, I'd like the Maelstrom. I'd like to just contribute a little bit more damage in the fights, get just that extra bit of burst. They've already got like Ice Vortex to amp it up. That's going to be maxed out. So I would love to see Maelstrom here for the Furion, but both are viable.
If you go the Maelstrom, don't you go more stats, a little bit more stat focus though? Don't you get like a couple null talismans? Yeah.
Oh yeah, null tally as well.
Yeah. That's the only reason I thought it was Hand of Midas. But if he had gone the stat build, I'm with you. I actually would prefer to see the Maelstrom. There's nothing else that we're missing, right? It's only those 2 potential items. Yeah.
Pretty much. It's not going to be the Armlet.
Armlet Furion.
Oh man, the play is only in Korean Dota.
Yeah. That would actually be a nice little change up. I remember the old like 3 null talisman blade mail build.
Yeah.
Go Armlet afterwards.
Easy.
Go Black. He's coming out of the bottom lane. He's looking to be able to catch Solo, who's got a TP, and will be able to get himself away. This is part of the problem with a ganking Night Stalker. His solo kill potential is pretty low if the heroes are prepared for it. You should always kind of have a TP at the ready. Meanwhile, at the top lane, there is smoke rotation. He's going to be able to catch out. At least I think it was a smoke.
Yeah, it wasn't smoke. Broke very quickly right out of the fog of war, but they were able to just nothing wasted. Just go ahead and bring him down with the Laguna Blade. So that's a good commitment. Sometimes you'll stick around, you'll just follow up with Light Strike Rays and stuff, and you risk the Ravage or something lurking around the corner. So I like that they were just one and done, get it quick and dirty, and then we'll proceed to go right back to farming. Because, of course, Alina's cooldowns are very short. She's got some good mana regen flowing, and she is looking for the top rim, but Iceberg's going to beat her to the punch.
A haste rune for Afterlife, who's got his Ravage ready to go. He's going to run into Pasha. That's definitely not a kill he can achieve. And because of that, Solo's also going to back himself away. He just desperately wants his level 6, but he's being zoned out constantly, so he's not able to pick it up. I think maybe a Hand of Midas, the idea behind it being matching the Invoker's Hand of Midas.
Yeah. To an extent, yeah. They know the game is going to still go towards this mid game. Again, they're not really worried until the 25 to 30 minute mark when God Black picks up an Axe. So the timing for now, the Midas is going to be profiting, but going to try to TP out, and there's just too much damage.
Yeah, it just easily gets overwhelmed by especially the Rocket Barrage, but had a Sunstrike on top, and that's a pretty easy kill to obtain. Pasha has been stacking up his Ancients, per the usual. Sven with the Helmet Dominator. They've also made sure to always bring that extra bit of insurance, making sure that the Ancient stack does not ever get interrupted by wards. Ice Blast, heading on up to the top lane. Looks like just trying to put a stop to this push, but or maybe not.
Not gonna. No, I mean, it wouldn't have done much anyways, just a nuisance. But with the Wrath of Nature on top, a TP, you might scare some people. Either way, though, we're gonna just see the quick jump up here. Teleport actually stolen by Rubik. That's actually pretty good. But can they get the last hit? Okay, no deny. Always on a fly, gets a nice chunk of change.
Rubik picks it up, but this rotation is actually the perfect timing, right? Because they're putting pressure on the top lane. They know there's going to be some sort of response, right? At the very least, like, they continue the pressure all the way to tier 2 and force somebody to respond. But in the meantime, Iceberg is doing the infamous solo Invoker Roshan. And all they need is just time in order to finish that up. And it takes like a minute, maybe a minute and some change. So Team Spirit have already forced heroes up to that top lane, which pretty much guarantees that Invoker's going to be able to take it. Something drastic would have to happen for Vega Squadron to get tipped off, full rotate out to the bottom lane via TPs and get there in time. And
yeah,
it just doesn't seem like
it's actually quite
happen.
unfortunate because Solo from bottom lane threw an Ice Blast all the way up top, and it went just past the pit. It went towards the bottom rune, not towards the Roche pit, and they didn't catch sight. So
damn.
If only he was at like a different angle, if he was at a different position on the map, then he would have caught sight of that. That would have been really valuable. Instead, it's a free Aegis for Iceberg, and a lot of experience for both Ramses and the Invoker.
Yeah, level 10 Invoker already, level 11 on the Gyrocopter. Our Hand of Midas is complete for the Furion. We've got a Yule Scepter coming in for the Lina, so maybe what the... Okay.
Just Telekinesis, Void, and Sunstrike. That's just quick kill opportunities. This Rubik's taking advantage of this teleportation. We talked about the issue before. Godblack can't get a solo kill, but now for the next minute and a half, Rubik is always there because he's always got the teleport available. It's such a good spell steal.
Yeah, this is pretty nice. Rubik never going to have to go back. Tidehunter is helping Gyrocopter right now clear through this Ancient stack with the Alacrity on top of him as well for the Flak Cannon shots. He'll be able to quickly clean through this. This is one of the big downsides of the Gyrocopter versus the Sven, is that Gyrocopter does it so much slower, but with Alacrity, it's actually the timing is not that bad. The rotation is going to come out from Vega Squadron. They'll be able to catch Afterlife, but that is all. And he already bought most of his items anyway. He's been collecting the pieces of his mech for a while now. And it's not really going to punish Team Spirit's progression too much.
Yeah, I really like how Team Spirit did that with the Alacrity and the Tide, because like you saw, that smoke rotation would have been right when all the hard keeps were like 2 hits from death, but instead they are all washed up. They get nothing out of that rotation but the Tide.
Oh, cold step! No, the Ice Blast! It is going to be able to take out that Aegis, and now they're actually going to be able to surround the Invoker. They do have Goldblack coming in, but it's not going to be fast enough. The Furion TPs, the Rubik TPs in from behind, and they will be able to get solo, it looks like. He stole Magic Missile, turns around on CM with the Slayer. Goldblack finishes off with the Void, and that looks to be almost the end of the engagement. Ramses cleans up the Vengeful Spirit, and now that really is the end of it. Yule Scepter picked up, no one.
Oh, Goldblack's still going? Really? This is a very dangerous play.
Yeah, this is dangerous, especially with Pasha there to meet him. No one turns around, gets off a secondary stun. Afterlife, of course, really unable to ever get a Ravage in that fight. Holds off on it, and they'll just focus on taking this tier 1 tower and bring that mech up online a little bit faster.
Yeah, a lot of confidence from Godblack with his team at his back and just kind of run around, making things happen. This is good kill momentum for Spirit, where I felt like Vega had more potential with it. Like, if the last 2 Ice Blasts that we saw we'll see one go across and always want to fly, actually should be enough to kill him. No null field, unfortunately.
Yeah, if he'd gone maybe the 1-4-1 build and you start maxing out null field after that, maybe
I think 10%. Yeah, 1 point probably would not enough, but 2 I believe would be. It's close, but all the same, like, I feel like even an even kill score, Vega, it shows that Vega are kind of missing those opportunities. The Ice Blast, up till this point, Solo's Ice Blasts have been all off the mark. The Rubik TPs have been pretty much equal value to the Furion TPs, and he went for the quieter build with this Hand of Midas. So while that will benefit him gradually, and it is kind of that classic build that we used to see all the time, we have seen other ones that kind of bring a little bit more oomph.
The smoke breaks, but Vega Squadron don't quite catch up to Afterlife here. They throw out a Sprout, but Afterlife pings it out. He knows what's going on. And Vega Squadron are not going to be able to find anybody. Meanwhile, the rest of Team Spirit are going to quickly push out the top lane as they know they're possibly in danger of Vega Squadron pushing out bottom. So might as well take that free space and make something of it. Counter ward being laid out, trying to block out the Ancient stack once again.
Yeah, and this is where Sven becomes pretty useless. Like, when you see what the Gyrocopter is able to do with his own Ancients, if Sven had succeeded in that smoke play and they had stolen the enemy Ancients, Sven is a great pick. But right now, he's farming a single stack of Ancients, and even that's exposed.
They are going to be able to pick him off. Pasha gets blown up with a Sunstrike and everything else. Vega Squadron are not here in time to be able to get any sort of counter kill. Or maybe they will. No one actually managed to get the Yule Scepter onto Afterlife, hoping to be able to get off the Ravage. He does, but the Lagoon Blade's already taken him up, and it sets up the Gyrocopter beautifully for an ultimate that hits on 2. The support is low. Always Want to Fly needs to be able to help out Ramses, though. Unfortunately, the nukes of the Lina are too much for him to handle, and now Always Want to Fly has got to back himself White Iceberg, thinking about diving for that Tier 1 tower and getting some vengeance, but in the end, if you look at just that mid lane engagement, it does go favorable for Vega Squadron. They traded their 2 supports in exchange for 2 cores on the side of Team Spirit. Of course, moments before, they just killed the Sven, so that does kind of even things out.
And the Ravage, too. I think that's a really big deal. Not having the Ravage available for a time period is going to change how Team Spirit have to move. They can't just go straight 5-man down a lane now that the Gyrocopter is so close to BKB. But I do want to talk a little bit more about this Gyrocopter BKB. I mentioned Sanj earlier because there are a lot of carries that will focus on survivability for fights over their ability to farm rapidly. And we see a bit of a different story here from the Gyro. Always going to fly, going to get stunned up.
Oh. Unfortunately, that was the Sprout giving him vision, I think, still.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, if he had just, like, ducked farther to the left and TP'd away, he would have been good, but Sven does
still
manage
gets
to
the
get
wards
stun.
down. We still see, like, the good ward that's got out the Sven towards the Ancients, and now they have one in the jungle as well that's not going to be dewarded. So I think that even though they lost the Rubik there, they're actually kind of okay with the fact that they don't have to worry. They have map vision. The problem is now they don't have anybody to contest this stack. There's no Ravage, there's no Rubik, and suddenly there are no more Ancients.
Meatball gets laid out. Pasha going to slip right on by, though. He took what he wanted, and he's going to get the hell out. So he's now got Helmet Dominator, SNY, BKB. Maybe his next item, maybe a Blink Dagger. We'll have to see. But once you have both those items, that's when Carry Sven is fully online, and he's ready to rumble. It usually doesn't happen until 35 minutes, but with the progression that's happening with both Ancient stacks going on and Sven being able to take Gyrocopters there, he actually will be online a lot faster than normal Svens.
Yeah, he's actually equal in net worth to the Gyrocopter right now, and I feel like that next piece of initiation will be a really big deal for them. They get the blink on the Sven. They've already got the drums on the Furion, so they don't have to worry about attack speed as much on the Sven for right now. And right now, Gyrocopter's still only floating like not even 1,300 health. He still has the Ogre Club on the Courier, so until he finishes up that BKB, he's very squishy and very susceptible to a quick jump.
Go Black has started to build into an Aghanim Scepter. We do have a lot of blinks being picked up, though. Iceberg got a blink of his own. Sven got Pasha picked one up. We were talking about the potential for him looking for that initiation, and he does go for it before the BKB. But I think you hit on the most important item, which is Ramses' BKB. That needs to be picked up, and Vega Squadron can actually take advantage of this timing, I think. This is probably their best time to like push down mid and take that Tier 1 tower, knowing that if they get the right kind of initiation, they just mop up a team fight. Because there's no opportunity, really, for much counterplay from a Gyrocopter if he doesn't have that BKB. Even if he's coming in a bit late to the fight, if it's already 4 versus 5, and you can turn your next round of nukes to him, Gyrocopter's unlikely to be able to, you know, completely offset 4 versus 5 advantage.
I agree with that, but look at this vision. I mean, the Night Stalker's roaming around in Viz. You've got 3 amazing wards to see everything that Vega's doing. If they go for a 5-man play that's not just straight up hitting the buildings, there's no way they like surprise. What you want is like a hero kill and then push a tower. But in this case, like they're the ones getting the jump, and it's gonna be on 9 pass.
Unfortunately, that is gonna be the case for Vega Squadron. Pasha is almost going to be blown up here. The Sunstrike will finish him off, and Solo sticks around a bit too long. They now actually manage to steal Ice Blast. Solo is going to be able to get away with the Glimmer Cape. They just managed to catch out the Gyrocopter, forcing his BKB, which he just picked up, and Vega Squadron, due to the Flat Cannon, have to back themselves away. Farther up, though, Max getting away with his Shadow Blade. They don't have any more counter vision, it seems. Always Want to Fly dropped his last one. Oh, they do get Ramsey. They came back in, managed to get the Ravage out onto Vengeful Spirit alone, and they'll catch Solo as well. Not sure if the two supports are worth it, but it seems like it, especially with the Furion on the backside managing to pick up one of those supports, and he's still kind of dancing around. He has a Shadow Blade up in another 4 seconds. He needs some time, though, and he's not going to have it. Team Spirit surround him pretty damn quickly and managed to get that kill. Team Spirit definitely coming out on top in that engagement. With the Blink Dagger now complete on Afterlife, it feels like Team Spirit are just going to be able to take complete control of this game.
Absolutely, and one big thing was that the Nature Prop was able to kind of assassinate the Rubik on the backside there with the Shadow Blade, because, oh, actually going to be caught. Night Stalker going down very quickly. Nice little Yule's combo there, and it's going to be the Sven to take his life. But if the Rubik hadn't died there, he would have had Ice Blast. He would have been able to walk away with that and remembered it for subsequent engagement. Ice Blast call down, so strong, but oh my! That's even stronger. God's strength prevails.
Oh man, Vega Squadron, 2 pretty big pickoffs. That was 100 gold. 100 gold away for Go Black for that Aghanim Scepter. And they managed to catch him. The Rubik is just the icing on the cake, and I don't know, is this another cake entirely? Pasha stealing yet another Ancient stack? It almost seems like Team Spirit, it's kind of past your time to stack Ancients anymore, it almost feels.
If they can't control it, obviously. Like, they're using Ravages, like you said, on 2 supports, and they luckily hit the Furion right when he came out of Invis, but otherwise it's not a great Ravage. And when they have Ravage down, this is their biggest drawback of their lineup, is they really don't have that much strength. Their big ultimate, otherwise it's Call Down, which sure is a short cooldown, but it's not going to win you a fight. So I feel like they have to be very careful about how they use these Ravages. Don't throw them out willy-nilly, because if you do use it, immediately there's no way to contest your Ancient stack if Vega move is 5, and we've seen it twice now that the Sven has taken advantage of that.
Yeah, I knew this game was... the item timings and the pickups between these two teams are so damn similar.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the Blink Daggers, like the Blink Dagger on Sven. On one side, like, boom, you have the initiation. If you jump the right hero, like, the team fight is guaranteed to be won. But at the same time, then they just minutes later, the Gyrocopter has his BKB. You know, there's unlikely to be any kind of play there for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden we have Alina with X. So there's a kind of play to the BKB pickup. It seems like you don't often see a game where the advantage, the small advantages that the teams have over one another fluctuate so heavily. Normally that timing is a bit more centered. You know, you have like at least 5 minutes to dominate a fight and go from there. But this game is so damn back and forth. They are going to be able to try and get the Ravage out. No one is going to be picked off here, and they manage to take out the Ancient Apparition as well. No one gets off his Laguna Blade, but he's definitely dead. Pasha, though, because of that Laguna Blade, is going to be able to finish off the Gyrocopter. Pasha coming in, still wanting to get a little bit more. The Furion's help might just be able to. Go Black is surrounded by the Sprout, does have an Iron Talon to be able to get himself out of that one, but Pasha blinks forward, has no mana, and unable to really body block a fast hero like Night Stalker. Still, Afterlife and Iceberg fighting out. See how the Slayer's going to go down. Mag pops himself out of the Shadow Blade to start right-clicking away on Iceberg. Pasha still does not have enough mana, and he will be able to TP himself out. A messy engagement that results in no Roshan being taken, and a tier 2 at the top lane going down thanks to the Treants.
I mean, that looked like just such a clear fight for Spirit thanks to the Night Stalker setup, getting the vision, getting the quick Ravage, easy kills, but just getting one Laguna out made all the difference. Just getting enough time for that one spellcast, and suddenly the Sven gets to clean house. You saw how much damage he was still doing in spite of the Anchor Smash. With the God's Strength on at level 16, he's still doing like 340 damage because Anchor Smash just doesn't do anything to God's Strength. It's the perfect counter. So Sven is just so strong right now, and Team Spirit showing that their weaknesses. If they're not able to get another big item on the Gyrocopter extremely soon, Pash is just going to carry it.
They don't have Ravage. Afterlife may still try and blink in. The Tornado is going to reveal that Roshan is less than 1,000 HP, and Pasha's going to finish it off pretty easily. Team Spirit, without that Ravage, know that there's not much opportunity for them to fight. Vega Squadron push out looking for somebody, but Team Spirit may just be forced to defend from base from here, especially as it is daytime. There's a lot of advantages going the way of Vega.
Yeah, I think there's actually going to be a lot more on Always Want to Fly shoulders. We need more Rubik plays. We saw some really good Rubik plays coming out the first 15 minutes of the game. These past 10 have been a little bit quieter. We need to see just some really big spell steals coming out from him. Ultimate's obviously going to be the priority, but really any good stuns on multiple heroes are going to be the high impact plays.
Tier 3 tower push. Team Spirit going to be forced into to defend here. Ravage is up in 12 more seconds, and Vega Squadron probably had that timed out, hoping to be able to take the Tier 3 before it's up and back themselves away. Iceberg has his Ag, sure enough. Yep, Vega Squadron take that Tier 3 back out before the Ravage was ready to go. But they are going to be able to maybe find a pick. Yum the Slayer trying to get himself away. The right-click damage isn't going to be quite enough. Go Black, though, is on hot pursuit. They have the blink forward by the Tidehunter. He managed to see no one, slows him down with Gush. Go Black is going to try and pursue. Looks like the Tornado managed to catch out the Ancient Apparition. They'll get that kill, but no one was kind of the big fish, and they won't be able to get him. Pasha being slowed down by Go Black, but he has more than enough time to be able to get himself out of the engagement. Afterlife managing to stop Mag's TP out, but if they don't have counterwards, they do. Sees him, picks him up just in time before the teleport completes. 18-20 now as Team Spirit strike back after a bad fight and a loss of big-time resources with a Tier 2 and Tier 3 tower going down.
Absolutely. So finally we see Goblak getting the Geometry site. That's going to put an end a little bit to the Shadowblade play that we've been seeing from the Nature's Prophet. Good high ground defense from Team Spirit, or actually the chase subsequently. As Vega did make the smart back, it's just they're not that quick on their feet in terms of disengaging. So Team Spirit run them down thanks to the darkness, and now they're going to start again to take the map back in terms of vision. But interesting enough, so far this game, it's been so close in terms of all these metrics. Like you said, the item pickups sync really well, the net worth and experience have been up and down, but fairly close. But one thing is vision, I think, has not, like 80% of this game, vision has been in favor of Team Spirit, and Vega are still making the big plays in spite of it. Sven is still getting all these random pickoffs, and I'm not exactly sure if Team Spirit need to focus more on lane vision now and instead of all these jungle wards, or if they just need to find more smoke plays, because right now, despite the vision advantage that Team Spirit have been enjoying and will continue to enjoy thanks to the Agagem Night Stalker, it just doesn't seem to be enough to actually open up opportunities.
Sorry, everyone. The camera work, it's been a little off the last couple of minutes. Having some issues with the broadcasting software, but I think it's only going to mess up with our VOD. So those of you guys watching on YouTube, sorry. There was probably some gaps or something in the gameplay. That was just a little bit of technical issues, but hopefully we should be good now. Anyway, Vega Squadron. Oh, Ramses. Oh, boy. Ramses really stuck. He's going to have to kill the Vengeful Spirit and try and TP out from there. They may have enough damage anyway, though. The Ice Blast, it's not going to be enough to take him out, it looks like. He gets away. That was big. He had the wherewithal of going, I can't just TP out with BKB. I'll get swapped away, so he has to kill the Vengeful Spirit first, and then still manages to complete his TP out thanks to the long duration of his BKB on that one.
Yeah, definitely made the right play there. Maybe the Venge was got a little overzealous going right in range of the Rocket Barrage at the very least, but still they get the escape for the Gyrocopter in exchange. He uses up his 9-second BKB, and it looks like they still want to hunt. They have the vision, of course, on Mag. There's no way he gets out even with the Hex, but 9Path's going to try to turn it back around the other way.
The Ravage goes out and will be able to control up Pasha, but he turns around. The Ice Blast is coming in, doesn't clip anything there. And they did manage to steal that Stormhammer, so with the BKB coming down soon for Pasha, he needs to be able to get out of here. The BKB lasted long enough that he managed to dodge the tornado, but there are more slows coming in from the side. Both Night Stalker and Rubik hoping to be able to get their spell range close enough to catch Vega Squadron. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Team Spirit, though, will be able to take some resources on their way out. They kill the Furion. They're going to take control of the enemy jungle, farm it up a little bit, push out top lane. And Ramses might just be able to catch back up to this Fen. At the very least, they have this Invoker who is getting very close to those big-time levels. Oh, snatching the Bounty Rune. Not sure if that was the best play in the world. They do have some backup, though. The stun comes in from Pasha. He blows up the Invoker. And Always Want to Fly, who stole Laguna play, doesn't have enough mana for it. It's too costly for him. Team Spirit Another big error by them as, once again, Vega Squadron just finding these pickoffs that allow them to take so much more than they should.
Yep, just little quick, fortunate jumps coming in from Vega, but they're going to take that all the way to the high ground. The Ravage is still going to be a cooldown for more than a minute. 2 heroes dead. There's no reason to buy back the Invoker if you can't actually fight even when he's alive. So they're without Ravage. I think they just have to let it go, but they're going to try it. And that's going to be enough to scare off Vega, at least for the moment.
Forcing a... this actually takes the Invoker well below the Sven when it comes to net worth. Between the
I don't think they're
buyback
done,
and
though.
kills.
I think Vega go in anyways. They just had to kind of reset. The cooldown's going to be down along with that Ravage, and they've got a 30-second window, but a lot of respect shown nevertheless. They'll just play it cool and wait for the Roche where they feel most confident.
So Mag will be the first to leave lane, kind of tipping Team Spirit off with him being bottom. Team Spirit are going to try and catch someone with Go Black.
Do you think they actually timed the Ravage this time? It seemed clear that the last time they had a very good understanding of when it was coming back up, but this time, with that, I honestly feel if they were certain of Team Spirit's cooldowns, so they probably would have gone in. So, do you think they maybe just missed the Ravage clock?
Maybe they feel like just the way that this game is going, Team Spirit are... I don't know. I'm kind of with you in the fact that you, especially against a Night Stalker, who always has the vision advantage over you, it's just natural that team should get more pickoffs. But so it feels dangerous to try and back out and play more of a farm game and split and wait out Roshan, because it feels like you're just giving opportunities for a Night Stalker team to find that kill. But at the same time, the way this game has actually been going is that Team Spirit are actually the ones who are mispositioning themselves more often, and Vega Squadron have been able to pounce, especially with their single target burst between Lina, between this control of the Scythe of Ice. So maybe it was just more of a read of Team Spirit are going to make the same kind of mistakes where we are unlikely to. It seems like they always, despite having no vision whatsoever, seem to know the kind of movements that Team Spirit are going to make and back out before they're caught.
Absolutely. I mean, we've been seeing that, like, it's essentially them playing, like, their experience against Bat Riders, their experience against Night Stalkers, and now it's actually daytime.
Yeah, they are going to be able to find Go Black on the side, but the Ravage controls and hits on 4-2 with the Gyrocopter ultimate over the top. Team Spirit had the smoke initiation. Pasha's still going at it with Ramses, but he's down to just clown on Ramses as soon as he gets his hands on him. Takes him out, gets Gold Black as well. Iceberg trying to control up Pasha as best as possible. Pasha continues to go for more, but the Sunstrike will finish him off. A 3-for-3 exchange somehow. But Gold Black, they do manage to keep the gem. Afterlife, is he going to die here? Solo doesn't have another Ice Blast, but Mag is going to be able to catch him. The Sprout blocks him out. Iceberg can't really stop that.
Yeah, so all in all, I mean, that's 4-for-3 in total. Obviously, Iceberg is the one to profit from it once again, but he's already by far the top of his team's net worth. What they really need on the side of Team Spirit is for the Gyrocopter to live longer, and Mag is actually going for this one.
Oh, they don't have enough for the Ice Blast. Now he's picked it up, but it's unfortunately a bit too late. Iceberg's already got himself out. They didn't have any counter vision, so... In fact, Iceberg, knowing this, may actually try and go for the quick pick off on Solo.
Yeah, I think he's tempted. Blink and the Cold Snap should do it.
I mean, really, what's a Furion going to be able to do with that? Especially with Cold Snap and Forge Spirit's already out, and your Scythe of Ice was probably on cooldown in the beginning when Invoker jumped him. It's like even if Furion was there, I don't think he stops the Ancient Apparition from dying.
Too true. And now we kind of reach this interesting position where we're at the 35-minute mark. The gem traded back and forth is back in the hands of Goblak, but I guess we got to look at scalability and the next set of items, because I feel like one really big item that's going to be coming out is this Butterfly for the Gyrocopter. If he doesn't have to just run and hide every time he sees the Sven, it's going to really change how he gets to move in the fight. So for right now, he's still... Oh, no, he's got the Eagle Song. Okay, never mind. He's got the Butterfly and just 300 gold. He'll buy out for it, I'm sure, and from there, as long as... I mean, obviously, the Laguna Blade is still a problem. That's amped up by the Ags as well as the Aether Lens, so it is going to take a huge chunk of his health pool, but at least the Sven isn't going to be like the end-all, be-all of his demise.
You know, I kind of think that... I think that a really significant upgrade is going to be Afterlife's Ags. He's already, like, he's 1,500 gold away from it. if you've ever played around with that Gush against melee carries, it's so damn good, especially if you can go all the way to an Octarine, but we're not going to talk about that. But just having the Aghanim Scepter, it makes it really tough to push uphill, and it's great for kiting around heroes like the Sven. And I think that's going to be the biggest factor here, is the Sven will absolutely, like, he can just out-carry the Gyrocopter just because he has so much more raw damage, but he's also so much more likely to be kited around. I mean, he's down to 8 seconds on his BKB, so it's still pretty healthy, but as the later this game goes, it's going to look worse and worse. Always want to fly sticking way out on the high ground here, but he did manage to take Warcry. Roshan is down to half HP, and this is going to be Aegis and Cheese. Neither team wants to give this up for free.
Absolutely, but it's really hard to go in just right on the Sven. He's the last target. You want to go actually on his back line here. They're going to go for the lift, maybe throw him on the cliff. That's not going to happen, but we will see, like, maybe a jump on the other side. No, it's Pash who goes in first.
It popped out. Pasha's going to be able to get himself away with his BKB Warcry combination. I'm not sure if... I think the Sven's BKB is more valuable, though.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's close, but because of the Lina factor, the Ags factor, I would say that, yeah, Sven is much more dependent on not being disabled than
Ravage going to go out. Afterlife's going to be able to clip, too. They have the Meteor over the top. Nice swap back out, but a beautiful Deafening Blast coming out from the Invoker nonetheless. BKB activated, but it doesn't seem like Lina's getting out of this one. Oh, Ice Blast turned around, back onto Mag. He's almost dead here, but Pasha, he's going ham as long as he can, but it's just not enough. There's too much damage. Overwhelms his HP pool, and Solo, last man out, true to his name, is going to be living life alone here until he finally dies, trapped and alone in a corner.
I think they're really regretting not pushing in the mid lane when they had the chance. Now things are getting really out of control. Team Spirit moving in hard on Roshan. Aegis and Cheese for them. Aegis for the Gyrocopter, of course. The Cheese will kind of float around a little bit and probably be eaten by the Invoker, but it might go to the Gyrocopter as well. We'll see. But for now, wiping them out. 5 dead for Vega, 31-24 the kill count, and you look at that graph swing. That's just going to be generating so much momentum for Spirit.
Oh, yeah. I think that a big part of that specific fight, like, I think you're right, they may regret not pushing in sooner, but that specific fight and the way they handled it, it felt like a lack of patience. You know, Pasha going into the Roshan pit and trying to force things. When they have a Furion, they have the global factor, you know, that when we look towards the end of that engagement, obviously it becomes much more obvious, but there was a gigantic creep wave that reached to the base. If they had actually played a little bit more around that global potential and just stalled things out and go, look, your tier 3 is going to get hit if you don't try and make a move and force Team Spirit to be the ones that would engage, and then you didn't have that awkward BKB for a BKB engagement part. It feels like that would have been the smarter play, but Vega Squadron kind of jumped the gun there with Pasha trying to force things out.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. An attrition play would allow you to kind of force Team Spirit to take the fight at a disadvantage because they have to go for the defense. Maybe you get the Invoker waxing and blinking over there real quick, clearing it out, and then BOTing back in on something nearby, but in general, it's not going to be a clear-cut thing where, of course, the Nature's Prophet always has that global mobility. So, yeah, I feel like that could have been the ideal play, and I think they were just a little bit afraid of the second that he goes for that play, the Night Stalker comes in for the flank because, again, this Aghanim's Night Stalker sees far more than they do, and that vision it makes it really hard to make those gut calls.
Yeah, that was a tough time for them to play out because it just turned nighttime. So it's not like you're like, okay, guys, just wait out darkness. Like, it's always dark, and it's always going to be dark in that sort of engagement. So they knew that they were just always going to be an advantage to Team Spirit in that regard, and that's the danger of facing a Night Stalker late game. That 4 position is actually becoming hugely impactful, and he now actually has a Lotus Orb. We have the Aghanims finished up on the Tidehunter. Cheese up on him. Ramses will be the one carrying the Aegis. And he's also going to be our frontliner here thanks to that Butterfly.
Yeah, Ice Blast will come through against him. It'll be a nuisance more than anything else, but he won't hesitate to take the tower and then just probably kill off the creep camp to lifesteal.
Mag's going to have to do some heavy split pushing now. A Boots of Travel in from the Invoker. Going to help clear out the split push.
Yeah, he really doesn't have a wrap build, though. I mean, the Shadowblade is something, but for the most part, it's all combat-oriented. It's all about a quick little pick on a support where that you can hex, or it's about contributing to the team fight in a major way, and that's just very different than maybe what they wanted from the Nature Prophet this game.
Man, just think of that. -6 armor, AoE. If you can actually get a pretty good gush, that Gyrocopter with Flat Cannon is going to take a huge advantage of that all that minus armor he's thrown out.
Yeah, and I'd love to talk about like a dream build where you can go Silver Edge and Hex on Mag, and then you can hit the Tide and prevent him from cracking shelling out, and then just kill him before he ravages. But you've got a Lotus Orb now on the Night Stalker, so he just breaks that dream, and Afterlife is able to get the ultimate out no matter what.
Tier 2 being taken out. Side lanes are being pushed in, and Team Spirit know they have a lot of time to work with here on this Aegis, so they can afford to slowly take the map under control and choke Vega Squadron out. Looks like maybe the next push is going to go to the bottom Tier 2 tower. Let's see, do we have any big item pickups from Vega Squadron that may change things? Looks like Pasha's kind of getting close to a Satanic. Solo closer to an Axe, but he's a hard 5 position. Even 1,400 gold can be take a lengthy amount of time, so it doesn't seem like anything's going to change. At least not for 5 minutes.
Yeah, obviously, as we go a little bit further down the road, we're going to be seeing the Gyrocopter look for his own Satanic, and then Solo's going to pick up his own Aghanims, which will...
Silma! Yeah, he's dead. Afterlife jumped on him. He could have jumped a little bit further. Vega Squadron playing a dancing game right now. They are going to TP away on 2.
Okay. So, interestingly enough, the Gyrocopter goes for a Scotty here. He's going to go for that kiting build where essentially he's just going to try to keep this Sven at arm's length. If you have a Gush and a Scotty on the Sven, there's no way he closes in. Yeah, probably the homing missile is also kind of tracking him down slowly. If there's not a BKB on the Sven, then he's going to have a really hard time staying on target unless he goes for like an Abyssal Blade.
Do you think it was a mistake by Team Spirit to not push in with that Aegis, or do you like the control and farm that they...
Yeah, I think they have a great position on the map. They don't have to take... Oh, God. Posh is actually in a really rough spot. They're just going to try to get the BKB out early from him, and it looks like that's not going to happen.
Gush slows him down. No one came in from the side. He's going to be forced into a BKB there, and that will be able to get him out.
Yeah, I feel like with... The only exception being the Furion factor, that Team Spirit have just a better lineup at this stage in the game and a better way to manage it. They're going to get a little free pick on the Ancient Apparition too. Now they may look to push because there's no Ice Blast. But yeah, overall, I just feel like Spirit are very confident the way they're able to spread things out. We're going to see Mag TP top. He's going to try to go for that base race play, but again, not the item build for it.
You know, Pasha could join him. He's got Boots of Travels. If they really want to avoid an engagement, because these heroes are just too big, God Strength would allow him to actually push, you know, just as fast. The danger, of course, being that, like, Iceberg alone could probably defend that top lane push with his refresher.
I think as soon as he POTs, though, they just go for tier 4s. They could honestly commit to the throne if there's no Sven involved for 45 seconds.
Do you think a Sven, if you just have, like, Sven all out... Ooh, they're going to pick something here. Ravage is going to go out on to Mag, but Pasha's coming in fast. He's going to go for Gold Black, but there is the Eul Scepter out from the Lina. That's not the target, but he now turns his attention to Ramses. Oh, look, Good Blade isn't enough. They need it on the right click, and they get it, too. Iceberg is here. He hits a big deafening blast. He does not have the refresher anymore. He's going to be slowed down. Afterlife forced to eat the cheese. Farther down, Iceberg starts showing himself. It's going for no one. The Ice Blast is going to be coming in. It doesn't hit anything, though. Iceberg's making his way out thanks to that, in part, shell that he's got going. Pasha's just running out of time at this point. He's going to be kited around pretty heavily. Solo, he's going to be the target, and he will be able to take him out at the very least. Gush slows Pasha down, and he just can't get his hands on anybody. Always want to fly, controlling him with the Telekinesis and Stormhammer, and that's 4 down from Vega Squadron, with only 2 having buyback.
Yeah, brilliant invocations from Iceberg there. He was able to, first he ghost walked away when he was in some real trouble, but he was able to get Cold Snap, Ice Wall out on the Sven, then with the Deafening Blast and just everything else, he was able to make it so the Sven's impact on the second half of that engagement was completely marginalized. Now the mid-racks will fall without the Gyrocopter's help, and it's just not looking good for Vega. Their Sven has already seen his timing window, his peak, and now he's going into the valley, and it's just Team Spirit to start dominating, taking the mid lane and not looking at top.
Lina is going to be caught here. Sure, yeah, he's got buyback, so he buys a bit of time, but still going to be him as well as Sven? Wait, what?
Yeah, he just bought something. He's got a demon on the core here.
Oh my god. Okay. Mag's going to push out, but 30 seconds still left. Lena does not have buyback. What in the world?
I feel like you have to go for the double buyback play. Like, it's still a losing move, but it's better than losing 2 lanes and guaranteeing the loss.
Well,
Here we see Sioma going down, solo as well. Sven now has buyback. I think he just miscounted his money a little bit. I don't know. In the end,
yeah, it wasn't that much. He's now got it, but it's too late. 2 lanes of Rax. Sioma the Slayer swap back. It's not going to be able to do anything with that, and that pretty much looks like the game. Furion as well as Sven by themselves. They still have the Lena buyback. Not sure what kind of all-in play they were thinking.
So the Sven only got the buyback goal because Mag killed the tier 3 tower top. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if it was Mag's fault, and Pass is going to put all that on him, but I feel like there's no reason to buy a Demon Edge at that point. I mean, that's pretty clear to anybody. So at this point now, it's 3v5. They will have to go for the ultimate defense, and I don't even think Spirit has to risk it. They could just be very, very happy with 2 full lanes.
Gonna go for the full-out throne, it seems. Ancient Apparition coming up in 2 seconds. That Ice Blast does make quite a big difference here. Ramses is low. Ravage is gonna come in. It is gonna be not enough, actually. Yule Scepter doesn't hit. Therefore, no! Iceberg comes in. Will be able to throw out the Deafening Blast that pushes back a couple of heroes, but Pasha, again, isn't able to lock him down. They'll get Afterlife, it looks like, as he does not have enough for Refresher or Ravage. Always want to fly, buying him some time with the Glimmer Cape, but he still goes down in return, thanks to a long-range Laguna Blade Artillery Blast coming out from Vega Squadron Team Spirit. To back themselves away here, no need to get caught. They've taken 2 lanes of Rags. They've taken 1 of the tier 4s. If they just back themselves away, their next round of engagement should look fantastic. They have, completed Scotty and Satanic for Ramses. Of course, he had the Scotty before, but he can get a Satanic quite soon. there was another big pickup. Refresher on the Tidehunter. That is a very big one, as we're talking about how important it is to kite around the Sven. You've got double ultimates now for the Tide.
I actually think that maybe the Refresher was slightly better than the Ags. You were very convincing with like the value it creates against the melee cores, but I still think that double Ravage can bring so much. So I'm kind of 50-50 on it, but either way, he has both now. It's the best of both worlds. The Gush can last 8 seconds by doubling it up. Obviously, the double Ravage. We're going to see a swap here on the Gyrocopter, and it looks like he's still just going to be able to walk away.
Vengeful Spirit giving up 60 seconds of death timer in exchange for a BKB being used by the Gyro. Unfortunately, there's just no disable. Maybe if they had some sort of instant disable situation where the Furion was sitting next to the Vengeful Spirit and they swapped into a Scythe of Ice stun or something like that.
Yeah,
but
he's a little bit too tanky now. Like, obviously, like the idea is, okay, well, we could just hit him a few times. Laguna, Ice Blast. That's at 2,000 HP, not 3,000.
Oh, the Ice Blast is going to go off. It does clip Go Black. That might be enough with the right-click damage to finish him off. It doesn't look like it. No one's going to go down first. Team Spirit need to be able to contest something here. Vega Squadron managed to get Iceberg, but no. Pasha's going to be caught here. The BKB went out in time for Mag, but poor Sven won't make it out, and that looks to be the end. The Ancient Apparition caused by the Ice Blast. Mag hit by the Meteor. And they only have buyback on the Lena and the Furion now. GG, well played, is called from Vega Squadron. Game number 1 goes to Team Spirit.
Absolutely well done by them. They were able to bring it back despite a couple of raw engagements that didn't really work out the way they wanted it to. A lot of Sven Ancients being cleared out in favor of Vega instead of the Gyrocopter. That's really critical economy advantages that Vega were able to accumulate, but still Spirit were able to kind of keep it together to make the team fights happen. Iceberg, his execution on Invoker, just impeccable. And just across the board, I got to say the Team Spirit were able to impress me in a lot of different ways. But I do feel some of it's still on Vega. While their draft was really good, the Furion he was all in on this team fight oriented aspect of the hero. And while that it does create some value, it obviously wasn't working for them because they weren't able to create pressure across the map in that Roche confrontation, as you're pointing out. And then, of course, they didn't really go when they had the best opportunity. Like the Gyro is only going to get stronger. The Tide's only going to get stronger. I feel like when you have the opportunity for Rax at any point in this game, Vega should take it. But Vega taken down, and 49 minutes in, it's going to be Spirit 1-0.